All right, welcome back everybody to the formulajonah YouTube channel. We are live for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. It is good to be back doing what we do best, and that's doing watch parties, that's doing live streams, that's doing content on events like this. Welcome to everybody who's joined so far, and also big welcome to David, my live stream co-host. How are you doing, David, as we prepare for the biggest event of the IMSA season?
I'm ecstatic. It's the first real endurance race this year. It's the one of the biggest in IMSA.
Yep.
So I'm just absolutely ecstatic and ready to get going. Honestly, I can't wait. So great to be here, Jonah, and just feeling absolutely pumped.
Yeah, I echo your words as well. I think we're in for what is going to be an absolutely incredible race. Thank you to everybody who's joined so far. We already got 83 viewers and counting in the live chat. And also, viewers, we have a second live stream going on the YouTube channel right now. That is for the starting grid. You can get an idea of where everybody is starting, where all the cars are starting. The viewers have jumped in numbers, which we have seen, which is absolutely great. The support has been absolutely incredible, and we really do appreciate that. That stream is the secondary stream to this. This is the main broadcast from this channel. This is a question I keep getting asked. We are not streaming the whole race. We are just kind of going through our initial thoughts on the event. Then tomorrow, then later on, once the event starts, which we'll get into in just a moment, we are going to cover a lot of the event at the start. So like, I don't know, first couple of laps, and then we'll end the stream. Of course, we can't do the whole thing. Myself and David can't stay awake for 24 hours. We'd love to, but it's not possible. And then also we don't want to get any copyright issues and all that sort of thing. But viewers, if you would like to watch the race live from the official IMSA broadcast, head over to IMSA official YouTube channel if you're outside of the US. If you're inside the US, you can watch it on the Peacock streaming service or on the USA Network. Those are the best places to watch this event live. If you can't access those places, make sure to stay here. We're talking about the event. This is a live community of just people chatting, ourselves chatting about the upcoming event. We're going to get into a lot of the details here today. If you want to see our predictions, make sure to go over to the recent video we just dropped on the YouTube channel of myself and David breaking down our expectations for the event and the top three of each of the classes. But David, I think this is a good time to kind of break down qualifying and kind of the starting what we have for the starting grid. And specifically, I want to get into pole position. What a lap from Dries Vanthoor, a 133.
Beautiful.
And this is a record, viewers. BMW on pole position for the first time in IMSA GTP. It's also the first time at Daytona, if I'm not mistaken, as well. David, I want to get your thoughts on this because you predicted that number 24 BMW to win the event. Can they go on and do it?
Well, it's a long race, but then actually just saw an interview with Kevin Magnussen speaking about long distance racing and endurance racing like this. A pole position almost means nothing because it's such a long race, but it shows that they have the best pace. BMW have showed that throughout testing as well, and now they brought it over to qualifying, which is just a great sign for the race to come. But yeah, it's the first step towards the victory, of course, but it's a long way, and we have seen many times before the pole position in an endurance race, like Le Mans, like Daytona, doesn't mean anything. It's just a pace setter, and then the race unfolds with all of its casualties and crashes and whatever.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And as Kevin pointed out, as you pointed out just now, it is a 24-hour race. You know, a lot can happen. We saw that last year, you know, in 2024. We've seen that in many years before. I've been watching the Rolex 24 at Daytona for many years, and I've like seen how fast the race can kind of unfold and change. And I think I pointed out in my qualifying report that I did for for Daytona that the number 25 BMW, which had that technical issue in qualifying, could still go on to win this race. That's how competitive this really is. Any of the 12 GTP entries could go on to win. And the fascinating part about Daytona, and this is actually something more common with, I'd find it to be IMSA races, WEC, it's not really like this, unless you count the 2017 race, and that is that an LMP2 entry could end up winning this event. It's that unpredictable, it's that exciting, and it's that just amazing, I guess. So yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible to see what happens here at Daytona. Me and David are going to be going through the first couple of minutes, as I said before at the start of this. So far, I got over 150 viewers live, which is great to see. Thank you so much for your support, as always. And I can't say it enough. The support for this channel has been instrumental to the continuation of this platform that we have going on here. And it just fuels us to create more content. That's exactly what we're doing with 2 live streams going on right now. The second one is just going on as well. And by the way, if I keep looking over to the side of my screen, or David does the same thing, that's because we have a billion screens all over the place, because we have all this data going on for the event. Like, for example, I have the race watch stream on Peacock to the right of me. To the left, I have my second stream to monitor that, make sure that that's going on. So yeah, there's a lot to keep in mind. But yeah, David, is there anything you want to point out before the race kind of gets underway? Because we are just about 30 minutes to go until green flags are underway. Is there something that you wanted to point out? Oh, I think we don't have audio for you.
Ford Multimatic. I want to talk about them because they impressed me so much in qualifying as well. We talked about them in our preview stream, that they seem confident. They showed so much pace throughout qualifying, and now they look set for a podium finish, at least at Daytona, which is just such a huge improvement from them since last year. So excited to see how they'll get going, and just the sense of IMSA. IMSA has something different than WC in these. Whenever there is a full course yellow safety car, everything gets back in place. It's something we saw at Le Mans, but not in the same way. The race never ends. I mean, you can be so far behind. We saw this last year as well, with Cadillac having a huge lead, or BMW having a huge lead, and all of a sudden it all got back together and ended up with Porsche actually winning. So whenever the race can seem like a bit boring for the overall lead, something can easily bring it back into a huge race, an action-packed race. So yeah, I'm just excited, and looking forward to see how Ford and BMW will do, because for me it's a bit of a surprise to see how well they actually are doing on this track.
Yeah, I completely agree with your thoughts there, because, I mean, we have Ford on pole position, first time ever with the Mustang GT3. I think the first time since 2017 that Ford was on pole at Daytona. And it's Mike Rockenfeller.
It's a 1-2.
Well. It's a 1-2, right. Vervish and Rockenfeller, I believe, qualified the cars, and that pace was so quick from Ford. Like, that was amazing from the GTD Pro qualifying session. And I echo your words here, David, because I think it would be great to see Ford on top. And I think this is the best chance we're going to get. This is the first time Ford's been on pole with their Mustang GT3. So far, this is looking to be the most competitive race from them. However, things could completely change. Also, another factor to add on to what you were saying there is that Ford have the lightest car when it comes to the BOP, as well as the Aston Martin Vantage, which has also looked pretty quick as well amongst the GT field. But Ford definitely looking to impress with some pace. We have a few comments coming in, and I just want to point this out here because I want to communicate with all of you watching. One of the questions says, is there Kevin Estra driving the Porsche 963? So Kevin Estra will be in the Porsche 963 at IMSA at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. He'll be driving the number 6 car alongside teammates Matt Campbell and Mathieu Jaminet. That will be the Porsche Penske entry. So definitely looking to take some success with the Porsche brand once again. I also wanted to mention that we have a comment from Mora GP who says, "Hello there, great to see you doing a watch party, Jonah." Thank you, Mora. And if you are not familiar with who Mora is, viewers, check out his YouTube channel. I did a collaboration with him recently for a Bentley video. We had a lot of success with that one. Great content creator, and I highly suggest the content that he puts out. So, yeah, a lot of people in the chat so far. Thank you so much for your continued support throughout this stream. David, I think we're going to get going with the Rolex 24 in just about 30 minutes time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's closing in fast, and I mean, it's almost like time staying still now, like 30 minutes, and we've waited so long for endurance racing to come back. So it's these final few moments that always takes the longest, and it's like Christmas, Jonah. It's first race of the year, first big race of the year, and you and me have been waiting to get back into content creating as well. And now the biggest, one of the biggest races of the year starts off. We start off with. So I'm just absolutely amazed about this, and almost 200 viewers right now on my screen at least. It's crazy. I mean, the support is unreal, and the race is gonna be unreal. I'm sure about that as well. So yeah, just absolutely amazed right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think we're really in a golden age for sports car endurance racing. We're really in a great spot as well in terms of the time. Of course, we have the Rolex 24 at Daytona today and tomorrow, but then that's not all, viewers, because we're just getting started. Next week, the Bathurst 12 Hour, that's going to be a big event as well. A lot of GT cars on the grid will be covering that. Then just in a few weeks' time after that, we get going with the WEC Prologue and official start to the season for the World Endurance Championship, which is going to be unbelievable, and we'll definitely be making content on that. So just a lot to come in terms of endurance racing. 3 big events coming up in the next few weeks as well. So yeah, just unreal stuff, as you pointed out, David. We have some more comments coming in. Another one from Mora GP, who asks, got to ask the two of you, now that there is a little bit of calm before the storm, what do you think about the news that came out today about a failed McLaren Ford hypercar for 2027? Interesting. To be honest, I haven't heard the news about that. I've been so caught up on this Rolex 24 stuff. But that is interesting that you point that out there, and I want to get some more information on that for sure.
Yeah, I know that Ford were interested in joining hypercar, but I didn't know that they actually tried to do something with McLaren. Of course, if Ford joined hypercar, we would have the great rivalry between them and Ferrari back, which would be amazing. But no, I didn't know about that news, and of course, sad if it was on the cards that we would get a McLaren Ford hypercar.
Right.
That's just sad if it didn't get worked out. So yeah, but actually never heard about it. I know about McLaren wanting to join and Ford wanting to join, but I didn't know they were trying to join together.
I didn't know that either, and it's definitely interesting to see that could potentially happen, or is looking to potentially happen. Yeah, and I'd have to do some more research, to be honest, on that. But definitely an interesting question to bring up. Also, we have another one that says, I want to talk about Isotta Fraschini. Is there any team that has expressed any interest in participating in the hypercar class with the Tipo 6 LMHC? As far as I'm aware right now, no, there is not. Isotta Fraschini are still looking for a partner to collaborate with following the departure of Duquesne. But as of right now, I don't think there's any team that's rumored or at least in the works of working with Isotta Fraschini. The earliest I could see them back in the hypercar class, if at all, would be 2026, but I don't know if that's going to be a possibility even. And it's sad because as a huge Isotta Fraschini fan, as someone who has worked with them in the past, it's definitely unfortunate to see them drop out of the hypercar class so early. But hopefully we will see them back one day. We'll definitely see. Also, I want to point out, David, that we have just reached 200 viewers on my screen, and we have over 1,000 viewers over on the other stream, which is great to see as well. Absolutely incredible stuff. And yeah, and also, before I lose this comment, I know I haven't been giving you a lot of time to talk, David, but there's somebody who's asking, where can I watch from Europe? It depends, of course, where you are in Europe.
Yeah. If you are living in the Scandics, like I do in Denmark, you'll have to join on Viaplay or Motorvision, which is a German site that also shows the race. So you can see it through those two places. Otherwise, I actually don't know. I'm myself are watching on Viaplay. So so yeah, that's how you're gonna do it if you live in the Scandics. If you don't, then you should be able to watch it on YouTube for free. So go over to the IMSA official YouTube channel, and they will have a live stream for you.
Thank you for explaining, David, and that's definitely key information to keep an eye on, viewers. The YouTube channel is definitely a great place to watch. Viaplay, another place. It really just depends on where you are in Europe. The main places to watch are Peacock and YouTube. Those are the main places. Peacock, of course, being for the United States viewers, YouTube being for the majority of the rest of the world. But again, it really depends on where you're at. There was a comment. Oh, there was a comment I wanted to point out that tagged me and said, I'm new to WEC and IMSA. How should I get into it and enjoy more? I only watched F1. Well, I think I have a bit of experience.
You've come to the right place.
Yeah, you really have. And David, you're totally right there, because like on my side of things, I don't know about you, David, but I really kind of started out with Formula One. I was into the 24 Hours of Le Mans and WEC and stuff like that when I was really, really little. But I really only watched Le Mans. Then again, I was like 4. But I really started getting into F1, and then I transitioned more into the WEC. The way I did it was I went kind of started watching the Le Mans 24 Hour more often, and then I started to get into some of the smaller races. So I started out with the bigger events, and then I kind of did some research on my own about some of the cars and stuff like that. This was very early on, of course. And then I started branching into some of the other events, like, for example, the 24 Hours of Spa, the 6 Hours of Spa, the 6 Hours of Imola, now that's come up recently, or Monza as it was back then. But yeah, so just take it slow. I would start out with the big events, though, like Le Mans, Daytona, Sebring, and then move into it gradually. I don't know if you have anything else to point out, David, on that subject.
Well, if I'm honest, I started out watching the WEC and Le Mans since I was a kid. Back then it wasn't called the WEC, but yeah, back when Audi was dominating and it was Audi versus Peugeot, and it was just a great era. But for an Audi fan as well. But actually WEC has made some videos right now on their YouTube channel, which go full access into the big teams in GTP, not GTP, but Hypercar, which is really, really great for a newcomer to get to learn something about these big teams at the head of the field. So I would watch those. I would stay here, listen to us talk about it, but also, yeah, just watch those videos from WEC and IMSA. They do a lot of content around the championships, especially the WC, both full access to the weekends, but also these shorter videos about the manufacturers. So really, really great stuff from them. But yeah, go watch Jonah's videos. I mean, I'm mostly in the live streams, but there's so many videos with full of information, and the history of WC and IMSA is just great to dig into. So go do that, and just glad to have you here if you're starting to look into WC and IMSA.
Totally agree with you, David, and I appreciate the shout out as well. And yeah, we'll continue to provide some updates on action. Okay, so We are just about 20 minutes in from starting this stream, and that means we have 20 minutes to go until the big event, the Rolex 24 Daytona, kicks off at 1:40 p.m. local time. That is the Eastern Standard Time Zone, by the way. The event is located in Daytona Beach, Florida, in the United States of America. We will be getting underway with 4 different classes, 61 cars on the grid for the event. BMW on provisional pole and on pole position. By the way, if you need to know exactly the starting grid for the Rolex 24, make sure to check out the second live stream, which is going on right now on YouTube as of recording this. And you can check out kind of where all the cars are lining up. That stream will end though soon, and so we're going to be getting going with more information here on this main platform. To the right of your screen, you'll see a kind of a data of some of the cars that are here. There's the top 6. I can't fit all the cars. I wish I could. This is kind of an idea of the top 6 for the entire overall grid. That will give you an indication of what the starting grid or what the order is as we head into the first couple of laps. But David, we're gonna have a split start once again. Prototypes and GT cars. There's a lot to look forward to, and it really is just about getting through those first couple of laps and then kind of getting into a rhythm, because it's all about strategy in the early part. If you go into this and instantly go full guns blazing, you're gonna lose the start. You're gonna lose the pace. It's all about endurance. It's all about lasting to the end. It's not just about being competitive. It's being reliable, being smart, playing a strategy right. It's all about that. And that's exactly what a lot of these teams will be doing. And that's also one of the unique things of sports car endurance racing, is that it's so long that the action is very different. It's very different compared to something like Formula One or IndyCar or the NASCAR Cup Series or something like that. That's the beauty of motorsport. It's everything's so different. But yeah, we are going to be going underway soon, almost at 300 viewers, which is great to see. Thank you so much for your support. Hopefully this continues on. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, who you think is going to take the overall win. Who are you supporting? Let us know in the comments below. At least for the start of the race, I like to keep an open mind in terms of who I'm supporting, and maybe you're the same way, David. But for me, I do have a special soft spot for BMW. I want to see them do well. It's time for BMW M Team RLL to be competitive at Daytona. In the past, they have shown that they've been competitive, especially in the night. But I want to see those cars perform well, and let's see what they can do. But of course, they have a lot of competition on the grid.
Yeah, for me as well. I mean, of course, I'm a Danish motorsport fan, so Kevin Magnussen in that number 24 BMW, gotta support him. But also, my heart has always been with Porsche as well. So it's kind of a mixed thing. If Kevin doesn't win, I want Porsche to win. But it's for me, it's BMW as well. Had a great start of qualifying, so yeah. But in the start, everything is such a mess. I mean, everyone is guns blazing. In contrary to what you said, actually, because more and more often in this modern time of racing, things have turned into a sprint, almost 24-hour sprint. We just go absolutely ham for 24 hours. Of course, there's a lot of strategy. It's all about endurance, but these cars are made to go absolutely 110% for 24 hours. That's also why we see them break down sometimes, and these new things doesn't work out. But you got to put everything into it when you start these races and when you go through these races. Otherwise, you just go laps behind. And you got to keep pushing as well. We've seen many times cars being 1-2 laps behind and actually ending up fighting for overall victory, especially here at Daytona. So yeah, just in the start, I normally I'll just the first few laps is just battles all around, and then this race will settle in when we first get the lap cars. The GTPs will lap the GT field and LMP2 field. Then the race kind of settles into a rhythm, and that's where the real race starts, and tactic and pace goes together hand in hand. So So yeah, excited for that to happen, but of course excited for the start. I mean, we just saw a crazy start in the Mazda Cup Series,
We did.
so hopefully nothing like that. But yeah, just crazy starts is always fun. So yeah, but let's get everybody safe through, and tight racing instead of crashing.
Yeah, that would be the hope. Definitely gotta hope for a clean start to this event, and we'll definitely see how that goes once we get underway in just 15 minutes time, viewers. We're almost about to get underway for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Also, big thank you to TMS who just sent in a super chat. Really appreciate that. The support has been absolutely incredible from folks like you, and I really do appreciate that. And same with David. And by the way, we have just the support is just absolutely incredible. I keep saying it, I know, but I have to compliment all of you because we've never seen numbers like this before, even at Le Mans, which is a big event. Of course, it's the biggest event of the season. A lot of support for the number 31 Wheeling Cadillac, as I posted a little bit earlier ago. I asked who everybody was supporting. Support for Multimatic and Paul Miller from TMS. A lot of folks saying Corvette. Nice to see that as well. We'll have to see. I am Multimatic. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly really supporting the Trackhouse Corvette. I think it's really cool that this NASCAR team is coming in. Of course, they're in collaboration with TF, but the driver lineup is some of the coolest drivers on the IMSA grid. You got the likes of Connor Zilic, Ben Keating, Scott McLaughlin, Shane Van Gisbergen, and just more. And I think that those four drivers together have a really really strong chance at taking the win in GTD Pro. So we'll see. Hopefully that car goes well. There's going to be 3 Corvettes in the field of GTD Pro, including that entry is the Pratt Miller Corvettes, and then in GTD there's 2 more, the two GTD Corvettes from DXDT Racing and AWA. Sorry, couldn't remember the last team. But speaking of entries, David, we should probably talk about the GTP field. We should talk about some of the cars that are going to be on the grid. Once this race gets underway, is there a specific entry that you think viewers should kind of keep an eye on at the start of this race?
Well, I would look at Lamborghini. It's the second year running. It's the first time they're actually here at Daytona, because they didn't race here last time.
Right.
So yeah, I would, and they have shown great pace as well. So they're competitive, and that's a car I would look at. How does it hold up here at Daytona? We didn't see it last year. We don't really have anything to compare it with. Otherwise, it's mostly the same cars. Of course, I would also look at what's their name? The Acuras.
Oh, Meyershank Racing.
Meyershank Racing back again. Last time they were here in an Acura, they won. So excited to see how they'll do. But yeah, Lamborghini for me. First time here. Let's see how they do. And they have had a year of racing experience with that car. But it's their first time here at Daytona. So really excited for them. And Cadillac also. They haven't had that much success around this track in their new car, in their GTP. Want to see them have a great result with no problems, because that's what have happened the last few years and what have cost them the victory, because they've been the fastest car for the last few years.
Right.
So I hope to see them do well. But yeah, Lamborghini for me. I'm excited for it.
Good pick. And we have a comment coming in as well to echo your words, saying the Lamborghini livery on the hypercar looks so good. And I agree. It definitely looks cool. Reminiscent, of course, of the Italian flag all the way down the car. That is a beautiful, beautiful livery. Yeah, really excited. Okay, viewers, 10 minutes. We have 10 minutes till the Rolex 24 Daytona. We are about to get going for this incredible endurance race. The broadcasts for the official streams should be starting about now, so definitely check those out if you haven't already. And just to kind of comment on my thoughts over entries to watch out for, David, you mentioned Lamborghini and Cadillac. I'm going to point out Meyershank Racing as well, because We know that those cars are quick. We know that the drivers behind the wheel are going to be quick as well. I believe that Nick Yololi is starting the number 93, which is in second. I think that car could take the lead at the start. I think it's very possible. Tom Blomqvist, I think, is aboard the number 60 Meyer-Shank Racing Acura, and that car is going to be flying through the field. We know that Tom is very quick. We know that he's got the pace. Remember that he was the driver that took the lead in that wheeling Cadillac at the end of the race and was pressurizing Felipe Nasr. So this is a driver to watch out for. Another car I want to point out as well that I think folks should kind of keep an eye on is the JDC Miller number 85 Porsche. That car qualified fifth. It's going to start fifth on the grid. And I think that it's possible that entry could be a dark horse, an entry that a lot of people don't expect to do well. But I just keep an eye on them. I have a good feeling about JDC Miller Motorsports. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But we are just about ready to get underway for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Send in your thoughts down below if you have any questions before we get underway. Myself and David will be here covering the start of the event. And there's going to be a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, there is. I mean, you mentioned Tom Blomqvist, and he's just been, every time he's always been driving the car I didn't support, and the team I supported was racing against. And it's just a pain to see him jump into the car, because I know the next hour or so he's going to be absolutely flying through the field and taking so many seconds out on the team I supported. So yeah, he's just an amazing driver, and that team in general. I mean, there's a reason they won 2 years in a row. It's really tough to do around here, and they did it. So yeah, just look at Meyer-Shank Racing. They'll be there no matter what. And just to comment as well on JDC Miller, these privateer teams for Porsche has been challenging the front pack. We saw it in WEC. Of course, with Yoda actually winning a race at Spa, but Proton Competition at the same race also fought out for podium positions and race win. So don't count them out just because they are privateer teams. They are really, really competitive as well.
I fully agree. I think that it's going to be those are going to be entries to keep in mind of. They're going to be cars to look out for, and it's just. There's so many cars on the grid, 61 to keep an eye. So many drivers. We have over 200 racers on this grid. It's just going to be, there's so much to look forward to, and there's so much to keep an eye on. Quick note before we get underway about watching this event live, because I've seen a few comments coming in, and I think it's a good time for a refresher. With the race about to get underway, 5 minutes or so, the best place to watch this event, if you're living inside the United States of America, is on the Peacock streaming service. You can also watch it on the USA Network. Outside of the US, you're going to be able to watch it on IMSA's official YouTube channel. That's for the majority of people. However, that depends on where you're at. David just pointed out just a moment ago that there are other places to watch. And David, would you mind refreshing the viewers on those specific places?
Yeah, if you're living in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, you have to watch it on Viaplay instead. And you can also watch it on Motorvision, which is a German site that also shows the race live. So it is possible for you, but it will come at the cost there. It's not like on YouTube where it's free. So you'll have to pay some money to watch it there.
Thank you for explaining. Yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind in terms of like where to watch live, because there are multiple places. Really depends on where you're at in the world. Hopefully that information helps. But viewers, I'm excited to say Formation Lap has started. The race is about to get underway. The cars are out on track now. They're preparing for the event. It's going to be one of the best races, I feel, at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. This is the 63rd running of this endurance race. The first one, all the way back in 1966, Lloyd Ruby, Ken Miles took victory in the Ford GT40 for Shelby American Incorporated. And of course, many more cars went on to win. After that, Ferrari, Porsche, Lola took victory in the 60s, and Porsche has dominated this event 19 times overall. Heading into this event, they're coming off of their 19th overall victory at Daytona. So they're the defending winners. They're the cars to beat, the Porsche Penske Motorsport entries, that is. And this event, if they win it, will be their 20th overall victory at Daytona. It would also be the first time that Porsche as a brand has taken 20 overall victories in an endurance race. And that's actually kind of surprising considering how successful Porsche are in endurance racing. But believe it or not, they've never taken over 20 overall victories at Daytona or at any endurance race. Le Mans, of course, they have 19 and the same amount as Daytona. Later this year, they'll be going for their 20th overall victory at Le Mans like they did in years before. And that will definitely be something that we should keep an eye on. But for Daytona, they're also going for their 20th overall win. David, any last minute thoughts before we get underway with this event?
Oh man, Jonah, it's happening now. It's a formation lap away, and then we get going. So yeah, I'm buzzing. I can't wait to get started, and I know in just a few minutes time, it's gonna be absolutely crazy. And everything will move so fast. So I'm taking it in, ready to get going, and ready to see if Porsche can defend the title here. So yeah, hopefully they can, or hopefully BMW can beat them as well.
It's going to be close. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be very, very exciting to see how these first couple laps and the rest of the race plays out. Of course, viewers, this is a 24-hour endurance race. No time for stopping. There will most likely be a few safety cars. But during this time...
Definitely will.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a race where there's not been any safety cars at Daytona. I think that's just kind of inevitable, but it kind of depends on when that will happen. But yeah, a lot to look forward to as we prepare for this incredible endurance race. The cars are out on track now. We will keep you updated in terms of what's going on. But it's definitely a lot of factors to keep in mind. One of those factors is the weather. I've heard it's very cold at Daytona. I think yesterday it dipped into about 42 Fahrenheit, which is very cold. I know that it's a totally different format for Celsius, but yeah, in other words, it's cold. But yeah, so yeah. A lot to look forward to. And also, I want to point this out because I think it's very important. If you're familiar with the NBC broadcast team, one of the presenters that's there, Townsend Bell, is actually going to be competing in this race for Lexus. You'll see him in the commentary booth for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Townsend is a former IndyCar racer, and he has raced before at Daytona, but he'll be making an appearance in the number 14 Vassar Sullivan Lexus car, which I believe is starting 40th, I believe, in this race. If I'm not mistaken, but yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And I think James Hinchcliffe is also going to be in the commentary box at one point or another, or at least making an appearance. He's also in the GTD Pro field for the number 9 FAF Lamborghini, which I believe is starting in the top 5 of this race.
Yeah, it's a beauty of endurance racing as well. There are 4 drivers in each car at least, so we will have the time to actually speak with the drivers when they're not in the car. Mm-hmm. It isn't something we'll see in Formula One. We can't just stop Max Verstappen for leading a race and talk to him about how it's going. So
that would be impressive.
Yeah, it would. Live interviews. No, this is something different, and yeah, I'm just it's a beauty of endurance racing. There's so many small things that you can see in endurance racing that you just can't see anywhere else.
Right.
I'm sure racers that are racing in the event and commentating are happening elsewhere as well. But this is just something special. I just want to add on to the safety car thing as well. It's something I've noticed watching IMSA, primarily watching WEC and now joining in on IMSA as well more and more. Safety cars get ruled out so much faster in IMSA. They're really quick to put out the safety car and stop the race when something happens. Of course, that's great for safety reasons, but it also makes the race stop a lot. And that's something we don't see in WEC. They have this full course yellow, or they'll slow down zones, especially at Le Mans. We've seen this a lot. So get ready to see a lot of safety cars, because it will happen a lot more in these IMSA races than you're used to see over in WEC. Is Jonah still? I think sound broke, Jonah. I can't hear you at least.
Oh, sorry, I had it on mute. Sorry, I was drinking water and forgot to put myself off mute. Thank you, David, for letting me know. But yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. The safety car procedure. That's what I was saying. So we'll definitely keep that in mind heading into this event. It's definitely unique to IMSA. Anywho, though, I'm sorry to rush this along, but we have the cars on the grid. We are about to get underway for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. The cars are on the formation lap. They're beginning to start this race. Dries Vanthoor is leading us away for 24 hours of action. The Rolex 24 at Daytona is about to start in 2025. We're back to racing. The off season is officially over, and we're just waiting for Dries Vanthoor to go, and he goes.
Green
the
flag,
racing
green
is
flag.
going. Yep, green flag. We're racing. Dries Vanthoor leads us away in the number 24 BMW. Pretty good start from the BMW, and we already have a challenging Porsche looking to the inside of the
Porsche
number
up inside.
93 Acura. Ooh.
Ooh, close.
Did the Porsche
As
get
we also
ahead?
see the GTD. No.
Not yet.
Trying to get
Ooh.
down into the inside corner. Oh. Lockups all over.
Oh, a
And
spinning.
we have an LMP2 off.
Ooh, that was close. Did you see that?
I think it's the United Autosports car. Yeah, it is. With numbers.
Number
It's the
2.
number 2 United Autosport. Oh, God.
That car started
Might have to
third.
Yeah, oh, God. Thankfully, it's a long race, but not the way you want to start this race.
Pretty clean start amongst the GTP field. Actually,
Yeah, only a few lockups.
an LMP2 car has got ahead of a multiple GTP cars. That's Ben Keating, who's gotten to the lead of the LMP2 grid. Oh, and it looks like there was contact between both of the United Autosports entries. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's gonna start some talks down in the garage. That's not good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, Ben Keating just doing Ben Keating things, I guess. Just pushing ahead of his own, of what anyone could imagine he would be doing. So yeah.
Yeah, he's literally ahead of 3 GTP cars right now.
I mean, it sounds like something we would see at the mom of the GT AMs and GT Pros back when we had GTE, but this is LMP2s against GTP cars. This
Right.
is not normal.
And viewers, I just want to point out, because a few people are asking in the comments, link. Unfortunately, I'm trying to get the link. It's on YouTube. It's on Peacock. I can't put a timer. I don't have the ability to do that. But right now it is about a minute in. We're on the second lap of this race for the Rolex 24 at Daytona. I want to get more information to you all, but right now I don't have the ability to do so. What's going on here? Whoa, big action going on in the GT field. But basically, the information I'm relaying to all of you is that Dries Vanthoor continues to lead for BMW, as you can see on screen. The number 23 Acura is in second, and the number 7 Porsche Penske is in third. So the qualifying order remains the same.
Yeah, but not so close between them. Still just started, so everything can change in the next few minutes. I mean,
True.
But yeah, everything stays the same for now, at least. As we have a great battle between Corvette and Ford Multimatic in the GTD Pro field.
Also, some change amongst the GTD Pro field. Dan Harper is now leading. So the Fords have dropped back. BMW leads in GTD Pro. And
Yeah, true. Not a good start for Ford.
no, I mean, right now they're under pressure from Corvettes. Cord versus Ford. And yeah, I've noticed that some people are having some issues trying to find the live stream in the comments. I'm trying to do the best I can. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take, if I'm looking down, I'm going to try and get a link for you all to the IMSA stream and see if you all can access that. I don't know if I can get it. Let's see. I can't. Oh, I can't because it's geo blocked in my country, so I can't. I can't share it. Dang it.
Unfortunately, this is well mine, but it should be on their official YouTube channel and then go on to live. When you get onto the channel, it should be there. Otherwise, you can also just go on IMSA TV. They also have a live section. If you can't find it on YouTube, go on to IMSA's website and go to IMSA TV. they'll also show the race there with commentary.
Thank you for explaining, David. And yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. I wish we could make it this easier for you all viewers of how to watch this event. But right now, we don't have the ability to link things. But as David mentioned, go to IMSA official's YouTube channel. For United States viewers, you can watch it on Peacock. Although, as I'm sure you're all kind of familiar with, if not, no worries. Peacock has a few ads, and to say a few is an understatement, because there are quite a few of them. I have to admit, but that's how it goes. That's just TV. That's watching something. If you want to have no ads, the best place is to probably go in person. But of course, there's other factors as well, like paying for an airplane, which is very expensive, or or fuel if you drive there or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's something we're lucky with here in Europe, that we don't have as many ads on races and stuff, because sports events in general in the States are pretty filled with ads. I think
there's a lot of them.
Super Bowl is famous for all its ads, so so it's probably just something with living in the States, Jonah.
True. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's how it goes. I wish I could go to the Rolex 24 and drive there, but I'm literally on the other side of the entire United States, so it would take me a couple days to drive there, which would be hard. But anyway, 24 BMW
I'm sure
continues
we'll
to lead.
sometime.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure we'll do that sometime.
That would be fun, and I mean, I'd love to come over to where you're at, David, as well, and head over there. That would be cool. I'd like to try and drive down to Long Beach for IMSA, but I don't know if that's going to be possible this year. I'd like to, but we'll see. Yeah. So, David, any big things that you want to point out in terms of the start of the race? No major crashes from my understanding. The only one was really that United Autosports spin. That car's now last in the LMP2 field, though.
Yeah, well, just a safe start, what we want to see, and people actually staying in a position, at least in GTP, not really that much movement. Of course, Ben Keating, I mean, pushing ahead of some GTP cars, pushing some cars between him and second place over in LMP2. Great start for him, and honestly, the bad start in for Ford in GTD, not what I expected. At least they showed so much pace for qualifying, but again, I mentioned it before, qualifying is just a small part of endurance racing. The huge part is the race, and it's a 24-hour race. So right now they can be on the back foot, and in an hour's time they'll be leading the pack by 30 seconds. So that's the beauty. Every car here can win, and it's so close between them, and such small margins pushing these cars ahead of each other.
Yeah, for sure. And I echo your words there, David. And I just want to point out when it comes to Ben Keating, because you mentioned him with that brilliant start in the number 52 PR1 Matheson Motorsports car. I think he's dropped back from the P2 field, but from the GTP field. But I do want to point out that either he got just a really good start and the GTP cars didn't, but another factor I think people should keep in mind is that the LMP2 cars also have a faster heat up time. So in other words, the GTP cars it's hard for them to kind of get the tires warmed up at the start. It takes them a lap, maybe a couple corners to get used to things. So the LMP2 cars sometimes can be faster than the GTP cars at like the first couple of laps, especially in terms of tires. So that's maybe a reason why Ben Keating was able to get past. The major change in terms of the top 5 for GTP is that Tom Blomqvist has moved ahead of Jimmy Bruni in the number 85 Porsche. So the 60 Acura is now into the top 5. 2 Acuras in the top 5. So things are going well for the Meyershank Racing brand on their return to the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Also, a lead change in GTD Pro that we want to point out. Andrea Caldarelli is now leading for Lamborghini and Pfaff Motorsports. He's got ahead of the BMW, and he's moved into first place in GTD Pro. Love to see that.
Great start. Overtakes happening all over the field now in all classes. So it's great to see. As we also see BMW, number 24 BMW, push a bit of a lead out on the Meyershank Racing car behind it. So something started to settling in, as we also see, that is the United Autosports car making its way back up in through the GTD field. So it's on its way back up into the racing. Great to see that going again after a spin at the start. not something you want to do. And I'm sure the driver is kicking himself after fighting with his own teammate in the sister car. Um, I'm sure they've been told that don't be too aggressive with each other. It's a long race, so not what you want to do.
Yeah, and I need to see a replay of exactly what happened there, but it did seem that both of them did make contact, which is not, of course, the greatest situation, but that's life. That's how it goes. So something else I want to point out is that the number 75 or actually no, 75 Express Mercedes. That car is usually more familiar on the Australian side of things in the Bathurst 12 hour. That car has moved up to 6th in the order of GTD Pro from where it started, and it's now on the back of the number 3 Corvette and trying to jump into the top 5. So that would be really good for Mercedes. A really good start for them in the 75 Express car. That's that sunburst colored entry out on track. In terms of the leaders, though,
stunning car.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably one of the coolest liveries. But
we don't have Hertz Team Jota here, so they won't swoop the field in terms of livery design here. But I'm sure if they were, they would take that trophy for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I completely agree with you. But yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Hertz Team Jota here. But yeah, I want to quickly point out the leaders for all 4 of the classes. Dries Vanthoor is leading in the number 24 BMW with a pretty healthy gap, actually, around 2 to 3 seconds, which is pretty good, especially for the start of this race. LMP2 is being led by Ben Keating in the number 52 PR1 Matheson Motorsports entry. Andrea Caldarelli continues to lead in GTD Pro for FAF Motorsports with their Lamborghini. I mentioned that car is looking very strong. I predicted them, I think, to finish 2nd in the race. And finally, GTD is being led by Elliot Skier in the 120 Wright Porsche. That car was the car that started on pole, by the way. So pretty good start for them. But it looks like the GTP cars have catched up to the GT traffic. And this is kind of where we see this multi-class element come into play. Dries Vanthoor is going through the GT field and winding his way through. He's built up the gap to Nick Yololi in the number 93 Acura to 4 seconds. An amazing start by Dries Vanthoor. Let's see if BMW can continue this pace. And speaking of BMW, David, where is the second BMW, the number 25 car that had that technical issue?
It's all the way down in 9th place right now, battling with Philip Albuquerque in the number 10 Cadillac, just under a 10th behind. So tense battles for BMW. Just wanted to add on as well that when overtaking these GTD cars in this multi-class racing, that's where you win and lose these kind of races. You win and lose so much time getting through traffic. So this is where the real endurance racing drivers are shown. Like if you're a rookie to this, if you come from F1, like Kevin Magnussen does, now we have the 24 in the picture. It's something you have to get used to, and you will normally see drivers like him lose some time through traffic compared to the more established endurance racing drivers. So this is where you win and lose the race, and it's really, really important part, but also where the race settles a bit. I mentioned this before the race start, that now we're getting into the phase where the gaps are building and the battles are turning a bit down and it's overtake through traffic. So yeah, really good to get to that place. Now the race looks like what we're going to be used to for the next 24 hours.
True that, yeah, and I definitely agree with what you were saying there, David, because this is kind of the real stage of the event. This is kind of where we start to see the true pace. I mentioned earlier on in one of the videos that we don't really know the true pace when it comes to testing. Qualifying is kind of where we get an indication, and the race is where we get the true estimate of where things are. Right now, I don't want to jinx anything, but BMW look pretty good. Same thing with Acura. And I'd say the top 4 GTP manufacturers, that's Porsche, Cadillac, BMW, Acura, all look really strong. Lamborghini is expectedly not as fast as those 4. This is, of course, their first event at Daytona. Things could completely change. But that SC63, with a different team behind it, by the way, Riley, with the name under Automobili Lamborghini Squadra Corse, they might change a few things, and I think they're already starting to show some progress. So Lamborghini, as you mentioned, David, a car to watch out for, the SC63 that is. Also, keep in mind The number 5 Proton Competition Mustang sampling car with Neil Johnny behind the wheel is closing up on the field. This car has moved into 6th already from 12th on the grid. It is on the back of Tom Blomqvist in the number 60 Meyershank Racing Acura. So watch out for that car. That number 5 Porsche is coming through the pack, and that's the all black and gold Porsche 963. So definitely keep an eye on that entry throughout the rest of this event. It's looking pretty good.
Yeah, but next car up is Tom Blomqvist. So maybe stick onto him and move up the pack with him, because Tom Blomqvist is one of the fastest endurance racing drivers we have here. But yeah, great to see Neil Yanni, of course, Le Mans winner, great driver. Been driving for Porsche for a long time, so he knows these cars. He knows Porsche as well, and now it's Proton competition, but at the end of the day, it's the same engine that he's used to. So yeah. Great to see all these amazing drivers moving around. Jack Aitken also, just want to mention him in the Whelen Engineering Cadillac, moving up to 3rd place, around 1.5 seconds after the number 93 Acura from Meyershank Racing. So great start for them as well. Porsche losing some places, not looking like they have the same pace as last year, but then again, we are early in this race and a lot can happen.
I think the strategy is kind of coming into play. It seems Porsche Penske and maybe Wayne Taylor Racing are kind of keeping the long game strategy here. The number 7 car has dropped behind the number 31 Cadillac, so Cadillac now moves into the top 3. But yeah, those, of course, the 31 and the 7 were the cars that were battling all race long. At the moment, it doesn't seem to be those 2 cars that are going to be battling for the all race long, but of course, anything can change. We're still very early on into this endurance race, so a lot to change. But yeah, the Rolex 24 at Daytona is underway. BMW continues to lead this event, but as we said multiple times before, many things are about to happen. This could completely change, and it most definitely will change throughout this endurance race. But yeah, we'll definitely see how that works. Meyershank Racing looking pretty strong with their 2 Acura ARX 06 entries, the 93 in 2nd and the 60 in 5th at the time being. So they're looking pretty strong at the moment. Yeah, I don't know if there's...
Just over a second behind Philippe Pinassoy, so also close racing. That actually 3 seconds separating 5th, 6th, and 7th in GTPs. Just shows how close this championship is, and still is. Now we're into a new season of IMSA and soon to be also WRC, and great to see that the close racing hasn't disappeared over the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is exactly what we want to see. We want to see this close racing, and I think it never really does disappear. You know, we had this off season, and Motul Petit Le Mans was so competitive. Of course, we had Chip Ganassi Racing winning that event with that all pink Cadillac. But then we had this short little break, and then it's back to racing once again, and BMW are on top currently. So things are definitely coming back when it comes to IMSA action. And they're going to kick off with the biggest race of the year. LMP2 currently still being led by PR1 Matheson Motorsports. The California team is on top in the class with Ben Keating on board. Very good start by the Texan racer as he leads in that class. I believe Andrea Caldarelli continues to lead in GTD Pro for FAF Motorsports, and Elliott Skier is leading in GTD in GTD for Wright Motorsports. So definitely keeping an eye on those entries specifically. An entry that I want to point out, and maybe this is down to pace, I don't know. Number 6 Porsche Penske. This car hasn't looked super competitive throughout this race and throughout qualifying. I don't know exactly what's going on. This car qualified 10th. It didn't have a really strong lap. It seems to be kind of chasing down the field a little bit now. With, I believe, Matt Campbell on board. He's got past the Lamborghini and seems to be chasing down the Cadillac from Wayne Taylor Racing. I believe that's the number 40 car. But yeah, it's not been a super strong thing. Oh, hold on a second. Ben Keating, a lockup. That's the race leader in LMP2 off the track. What just happened there?
He just lost it. It's brakes locked up into
That's
just
not
at
good.
the end of the infield. Yeah, that's too bad, man. He was going. I mean, he had such a good lead. I think almost 8 seconds, so second place in LMP2, and now starting all over. Um, Went down to second place so far, at least.
Still a long race to go. So Ben Keating, keep your head cool. All good. And he goes off again. Same place. He
No,
goes.
isn't that just a reap?
No, I think it's the same. It is the same.
Yeah, he lost another position that corner.
Yeah, another place. And he's gonna lose potentially another place here to the 04 CrowdStrike LMP2 entry. Ben Keating's down to third. That's not good. That's really
Is that a brake problem?
might be a
As the
brake
brakes,
problem.
yeah, going into the pits already. That's not what you want.
Tell me that's not a brake problem for Ben Keating this early on. This would be so unfortunate for the 52 PR1 Matheson Motorsports Orica. But this car, I think, has moved down to third in this race. Chris Cumming has moved into second for Pratt Miller LMP2. That car is debuting here at Daytona, by the way, the number 73 car. So looking really strong. PJ Hyatt is leading overall now in LMP2. That's the Spike the Dragon AO Racing entry that's on top. So the founder of AO Racing is leading this pack and doing very, very well. But Keating, he's
Yeah,
got
up
his
to
old
nine
rival.
seconds lead.
Yeah.
A 9 second lead already pushing that. So
Yep, you're right.
that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what's gonna how I mean things are definitely gonna change. Also, position change amongst the LMP2 field. Lewis Paris Compact has got past George Kurtz in the number 88 PCOM Racing LMP2. That's the AF Corsa run entry. That is up to fourth now. And that entry will move into the top four and looking to chase down Ben Keating for third. By the way, viewers, because I know this was asked a few times, we are not going to be live streaming the whole race. We wish we could, of course. But myself and David can't go 24 hours. We need a break at some stage. Maybe we'll come back later on. I don't know, like we did with Le Mans, and do like a halfway race.
Could definitely happen. I mean, we'll keep you posted about that. But yeah, as Jonas said, we can't keep going live for 24 hours. I mean, I remember we did the Nürburgring and last year as well, and if we were live for 24 hours, we would have been sitting there speaking about a red flag for 9 hours. So,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
maybe it's also good enough, but yeah, of course we want to be live all the time. We love having you guys, viewers, and your comments and just the discussions in the commentary. It's great, but yeah, we'll of course be watching the race, but just not live.
True that. Yeah, and I think that it's definitely possible to see the number. Sorry, it's definitely possible to come back for another stage of this race. And like David said, we'll keep you all posted on that. We did it at Le Mans. It was very successful. We did like a mid race watch long. Depends how everything goes. Meanwhile, though, Dries Vanthoor has continued to build the gap on Nicololi. The BMW driver is now, I think, like almost 10 seconds ahead of the Acura. This is really going well so far for BMW. I don't want to jinx anything, but things are going not too bad. Actually, I'm wrong. It's not 10 seconds. It's 7.5 seconds.
7.5.
Yep, 7.5. You're right. So Nicololi falling back a little bit, but then again, Meyershank Racing might be playing the long game here. So we'll definitely see how it goes. But the gaps are starting to build. Dries Vanthoor, 7.5 seconds to the number 93 Acura. Jack Aiken is a further couple of seconds behind Nicololi. He has a 10.7 gap to the number 24 BMW. And then comes the first of the Porsches, the number 7 car driven by Felipe Nasr, who, of course, won this event last time out at Daytona. He has a further 16-second gap to Dries Vanthoor. By the way, David, this is something that we should probably point out as well. Dries Vanthoor is not the only Vanthoor in the field.
No, his brother driving for Porsche Penske, also of course fighting in the same class. Something we've seen last year as well in WC. So
Right.
brotherhood being tested here with racing between and now BMW having the lead. I think last year Porsche, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his first name, but yeah,
Lawrence Vantor?
Lawrence Vantor had the hand over Dries with him driving Porsche and winning everything almost. So yeah, finally time for Dries Vantor to win a bit against his brother.
Wouldn't it be funny, and I'm just putting this out there, not trying to just say anything or whatever, but wouldn't it be funny if the race lead at the end of this event came down to BMW versus Porsche, and it's Dries Vantor in the car and Lawrence Vantor in the car? What would they do? I mean, they'd have to battle and just forget that the fact that they're brothers and have grown up with each other their entire lives. I mean, because they're racing for two separate teams here. One is driving for Team RLL, the other is driving for Porsche Penske Motorsport. So I don't know what they would do. Of course, that's all a hypothetical situation, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it happens.
Well, yeah, I think they're race drivers first, brothers second. True. I mean, in
at least setting, at this stage.
Yeah. When you get the helmet on, it's just, I think for these guys, something click in their head and they'll just go like almost like machines driving these cars extremely, extremely fast. So yeah, it's their job at the end of the day, and they're extremely good at it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be at such two huge teams. I mean, BMW and Porsche are huge racing teams. So, as we also see Tom Blomqvist move up into fourth ahead of Felipe Nasser and Porsche losing another place. Going out of the top four, Porsche, I mean, are they going to have a tough year this year? Of course, everything can change with the safety car. Everything can get back in play, but they're losing time and losing positions.
Something tells me that Porsche Penske Motorsport are playing the long game here. They know how to win this event. They've done it before. They have a new Joker upgrade on the car as well. So something tells me something's up with the Porsche team. Not in terms of like a problem or anything like that, but in terms of like a strategy here. Because I think Porsche Penske, I think they're going to be a very big threat in this race. And remember last year, viewers, the number 7 car and the number 6 car were competitive in the daytime, but more competitive in the night. Those cars came alive during the nighttime hours. So is Porsche Penske Motorsport learning from what happened in 2024 and maybe kind of like capitalizing on that and making sure that they focus their intention on the night and just trying to stay with the pack? I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But you're right. Porsche have dropped down to 5th. That's not a good position right now for the German manufacturer. It's now BMW, Acura, and Cadillac cars representing the top 4 positions. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here with Porsche. But right now, the number 7 cars in 5th, with the number 5 Proton competition, Mustang sampling Porsche in 6th.
Yeah, it's close throughout, but yeah, I'm just it doesn't. I would never count Porsche and Porsche Penske in general out because they've shown great strategy calls many times. Who doesn't call? I mean, that wasn't as much strategy call, but a great job by the mechanics back at Qatar last year. The first race of the season in WEC, where they had to put a sticker on the side of the car instead of a number plate that broke off. So it's an extremely professional team, and just never count them out. But it isn't a good sign to be losing positions like this. But let's see. It's a long race, and I keep saying it, but it is really is a long race, and these races here can change in a matter of seconds with just a safety car. Everything can be turned on its head there, and that's where strategy also. The analysts out for the teams really get their money's worth when the safety car comes in, because they have to take a decision so extremely fast to change something up to gain the advantage. So really well done.
Yeah,
we get another super chat.
Whoa! Thank you so much to TMS once again. Who comments this wonderful post. 2022, Dries crashed Lawrence out of the 24 Hours of Nürburgring. I remember that. Oh my goodness, you brought that back. I totally
Oh
forgot
yeah,
about
that's
that.
true.
Dries was in the Audi and Lawrence was in the Porsche Grello car. Oh yeah, wasn't Dries with Team WRT when they were running the Audi cars before they switched to BMW? I think that
Yeah,
was.
that should be in 2022. Yeah, it should be Team WRT. Oh
Yeah,
man.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, well then that also answers the questions when they're driving, they're racing, and they're not brothers.
True.
If they can push each other off the track, then anything can happen, I guess. So yeah.
True, true. Well, there's two things I want to point out here. Two comments that have just recently come in. One is from Cole that says, who says, "Is there an all-female race team this year?" There's an all-female driver lineup at Iron Dames. We have the Iron Dames back in IMSA for Daytona with the number 83 Porsche. And I believe the driver lineup is Sarah Bovey, Rahel Frey, Michelle Gadding, and Karen Gaillard. So those four drivers are in the Porsche. So there are quite a few female racers on the grid this year, which is great to see. Also, Mora
Yeah, and they're
GP.
actually 10th in class as well
Oh, are
right
they?
now.
Oh,
Yeah, the Iron Dames are 10th in class, 49th overall in the race. 10th in class.
well, that's definitely interesting to keep an eye on. I think we should definitely keep an eye on the Iron Dames as we see a move going on for the Porsche. The number 7 car is looking to take Tom Blomqvist's position back and reclaim fourth. Keep an eye on the Proton competition car as the number 7 Porsche is looking to take this move. Porsche looking pretty strong right now, actually. But speaking of the cars, Mora GP mentioned, I think it's worth saying how good Porsche was on hot conditions rather than today's chilly conditions. So that's another thing to watch out for. And I definitely agree. That's another factor. The track is very cold right now. The air is very cold from what I've heard. And so Porsche may be struggling in those colder conditions. And maybe when things kind of warm up later on in the day, things will be better. But then again, that could hurt them in the night. But we'll see how it goes. Right now, things are coming back a little bit for Porsche Penske Motorsport with the number 7 car right in the back of Tom Blomqvist.
Yeah, and I think you can say anything about Porsche, but I think Philippe Nasr won't hear it. He sees a car ahead of him that's just overtaking him. You want to get that place back.
Oh yeah.
We saw him last year also battle with the Cadillac Video Engineering car. So when he has a car in his sight, he's gonna take that car's place no matter what happens. It doesn't matter which car he's in. So yeah, it's not a fun place to be right ahead of Felipe Nasr if you really need to have the pace to push away, because he's gonna eat you if you're in front of him.
True. Yeah. Very true. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. It's definitely going to be interesting. Felipe Nasr continues to push on Tom Blomqvist and try and re-overtake the Acura. Traffic is playing a part as well. So this is the battle that's being played on screen for the IMSA broadcast. Keep an eye also on the Proton Competition Porsche, which is right behind those two entries. So definitely something to keep an eye on. If I keep looking over to the side of my screen, it's because I'm kind of keeping an eye on the data and watching the event. Also, David, I think we should point out that Nick Yololi, the gap between the two leaders, Nick Yololi and Dries Vanthoor, BMW and Acura, is 8 seconds. The gap did go down a little bit.
Actually, almost 9 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Almost 9 seconds. 8.9 seconds right now.
Wow.
So BMW is stretching its legs and pushing out a lead right now. Great to see. I mean, for my predictions, this is going pretty well. But yeah, BMW. I mean, here to win clearly, and Sheldon van der Linden still in the number 25 car, still in 9th place, but I'm sure he'll be moving up places as well. So the pace is there with BMW. Now it's just all about the problems, staying out of the garage and staying on track, keeping it consistent, have the perfect race. You can't really have a perfect race in endurance racing, but you can damn well try to. So yeah, as beautiful pictures that we just saw before, 3 GTP class, close in hand, right behind each other. That's what we want to see, Jonah. That's the close racing we want to see mixed up LMP2, GTD cars, GTP cars fighting in between each other. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think this is definitely a great sight to see that GTP is so close, you know, so
Oh, is
competitive.
that was
Uh,
Neil Yani? Neil Yani
oh,
moving ahead of Philip. Oh,
you're right.
Neil Yani moving up into fifth place now, right
And
ahead
watch
of Philip
Bruni.
Benassa.
Watch Bruni. Bruni's now trying to get the number 7
Yeah,
Porsche. These are all three different teams, by the way, viewers. So three different Porsches in the battle here. Nazar's now going to try and re-overtake Johnny, and he gets ahead.
he
Nazar
takes it.
back
He takes
ahead.
it. That takes balls, man. Sending it into the bus stop chicane. That's something. Oh my. You could just see that Neil Yani just got stuck on the inside, right there. Philippe Nasser using the track really well to gain their place back.
And also, just want to point out here in terms of this battle, look who's catching up as well. Felipe Albuquerque in the number 10 Wayne Taylor Racing Cadillac. That car is trying to get into the action as well. But very surprised to see the pace of the privateer Porsches. These are going really well. However, the pace that Johnny's re-overtake of Nazar has compromised the Brazilian racer because Blomqvist has now kind of gotten away from that Porsche. So
Yeah, he just actually took 3 seconds over that last lap. Um, that's a lot.
that is a lot. Yeah, that's definitely a lot, and that's interesting to see. Moving on to the LMP2 field, PR1 Matheson Motorsports Ben Keating has now moved into second ahead of Chris Cummings, number 73 Pratt Miller LMP2, so he's reclaimed second place. The gap is now 20 seconds to the race leading AO Racing Spike Orica. But yeah, definitely a car to keep in mind is that PR1 Matheson Motorsports car. The battle for GTD Pro, I believe, is kind of close as well. David, I didn't see exactly where they were, but I think Andrea Colorelli is still leading in the number 9
Yeah,
Lamborghini. Yeah, Dan Harper's
yeah,
close,
he is,
right?
but just under a second, between Dan Harder and Andrea Calderini. So yeah, and it's only like 3 seconds down to Mike Rockenfeller for the lead. So it's really really close between the actually top five in GTD Pro are close in hand. So nothing is set in stone there. It's we don't really have a clear leader there, but still Lamborghini first with the number 9 car, Dan Harper in the 85, 80, 84, 48. Oh, sorry, 48 BMW M4, and then Mike Rockenfeller in for Ford Multimatic in that Mustang GT3. So interesting to see 3 different manufacturers, the top 3 in GTD Pro. Also really really good to see 3 different manufacturers fighting it out.
Yeah, and Lamborghini looked really strong from the testing. Andrea Caldarelli had the fastest lap. I think it was a 147, if I'm not mistaken. BMW and Ford look really good in qualifying. So all 3 manufacturers that were looking strong during the GT Pro sessions are in the hunt right now, at least. Also, keep an eye on Corvette Racing with Pratt Miller Motorsports. Those entries are not too far behind either. The Z06 GT3Rs have proven to be very competitive before in IMSA competition. Think back to, I believe, CTMP when those cars got a win in GTD Pro. I think a 1-2, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a win. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on the Corvettes. They could be very quick from the Chevrolet brand. But yeah, that's GTD Pro. GTD, I think, is still being led by the number 120 Wright Motorsports Porsche. I don't have the data right now to show exactly who's leading GTD, but
Yeah, Elliott Skier still leading in that 120 Porsche,
okay.
right ahead of Frank Piera in the number 78 Lamborghini. Only 8 tenths between first and second place there. So still close racing there as well. It seems like the GTD fields are a bit more close than the prototype fields. Of course, 10 seconds now between first and second GTP, and almost 18 seconds between first and second LMP2. So right now, the action at the close racing for first place, at least, is in the GTT field.
Yeah, it is. The GTD grid is really kind of, that's where the main battle is, as you mentioned. And I think as well, what's it called? The number 60 Acura and the number 7 Porsche. That's kind of the closest battle in GTP, if I'm not mistaken. At least that battle for what is, I believe, fifth or so. So definitely something to keep in mind in terms of like where the battles are on track right now. We're still very early on into this race, just about 40 or so minutes in, and we're counting down to just the first hour. A few of the LMP2 cars are coming into the pit lane. Ben Keating, Chris Cumming, George Kurtz, Daniel Goldberg. A lot of the LMP2 entries in the top 5 have come into the pits. I believe PJ Hyatt has not yet, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah,
Yeah, he's still out on track.
okay. So LMP2 continues to stay the same in terms of that. There was a driver change in the 52 PR1 Matheson Motorsports entry. They did that very quick. Salas has now got ahead of Keating. Or sorry, Salas has got in and Keating has got out. So another driver is in the PR1 Matheson Motorsports car. So Keating has done his stint. He should return very soon. And David, I think we should point out when it comes to Ben Keating that this isn't his only ride. He's going to be also driving in GTD Pro for Trackhouse.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he did this last year as well, driving in GTP and LMP2.
Right.
And now he does it in GTD and LMP2. So it's, again, a classic Ben Keating. He wants as much action as possible. And when he's in the car, he's extremely fast. So I think many teams will be looking at Ben Keating and say, yeah, come on to the team and do a job for us. Because they know he's one of the best amateur drivers on the field. So yeah, definitely a strong driver, and it's not unusual to see drivers driving for different teams, actually almost fighting against each other also in IMSA. So especially these longer races like Daytona is. So yeah, but always fun to see where Ben Keating is racing, and one thing for sure, he will always stay in LMP2, but it's more like if he's staying in GTP as well or GTD.
True. Yeah, I think he is definitely going to continue in the LMP2 class for years to come. It's great to see him doing so well in there. And like you mentioned, kind of just depends on where he's going for his second ride. And Keating's not the only driver that has done double duty in the past at this event specifically. I know Colton Herta was driving for BMW M Team RLL when they debuted in 2023 in the GTP class. And I think he did another ride as well, maybe in the GT field. At this event specifically in 2025, Kyle Kirkwood is also doing double duty in the Vassar Sullivan Lexus entries. He'll be racing in the 14 and in the 12. And I believe there's another driver out there. Somebody can correct me on that. If there's another driver doing double duty, there could be. Also, a very intense battle going on here for GTD Pro for the race lead.
That's for the lead.
Yep.
He's going on the outside. That's a tough place to be. No, he pulls out into the first corner. Yeah, close battles all over I mean, we just mentioned this, that in GTD Pro and GTD, it's almost the closest racing that we're seeing for the lead, and right on point, BMW trying to take the place from Lamborghini in GTD Pro. Great defending from Andrea Caldarelli. But yeah, close racing all over.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Dan Harper versus Andrea Caldarelli, Lamborghini versus BMW. And also want to keep an eye, because we mentioned this a little bit earlier on, the 75 Express Mercedes has moved into third in GTD Pro ahead of both of the Fords and the Corvettes. That car is now right on the back of the BMW and could be taking the lead here. I believe that's a 4-time Macau GP winner, Mauro Engel, who is on board with that number 75 Mercedes. So keep an eye on Engel, as he's going to be looking to take the lead for Mercedes in maybe just a few laps. But the GTD Pro field, extremely close. Ford, Corvette, BMW, Lamborghini, Mercedes. It's really a five-way battle right now. And there's actually a sixth manufacturer involved in that battle too, because AO Racing's Rexy Porsche, who you predicted to win the race, I believe, David, is down in, I believe, seventh, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. But
yeah, they're down in eighth right
eighth,
now with
okay.
Florian Heinrich driving that car. Yeah, but it get back up there. It'll take first place and come tomorrow. Don't get me wrong. I know it's fun racing, but you already got the results when you saw my predictions. So,
True.
Actually, no real reason to watch the whole race.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Oh, hold on a second. There's a change.
That's the Riley.
Yeah,
No Riley. AO Racing.
that's the race leader.
Yeah, that's first place, and that's PJ Hind in LMP2 having some problems in the pit lane.
True. Yeah.
But it seems as though he's out on track again.
He's back in the lead. He's 13 seconds ahead of the 52 PR1 Matheson Motorsports entry. Oh, and viewers, I know you can't see exactly what we're saying, but basically what happened is that PJ Hyatt came into the pits and they changed the nose on the AO Racing Spike entry. And he's back out in the lead, but yeah, that was a nose change for the 99 car. David, we have a comment coming in here that we should point out here. How many F1 drivers, former or current, are in this race? Do you want to list it, or do you want me to list it?
I mean, we have Magnussen, Grosjean. Yeah.
I have a few in mind if you want me to put out more.
Jack Aitken. Jack Aitken also counts. He had a short stint with Williams. Felipe Nasser. Yeah, I'm almost done, man.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think that's who I remember.
I think there's also a few more. There's Felipe Massa in LMP2, Pietro Fittipaldi in LMP2
Massa
as well. There is Danny Kvyat in Lamborghini GTP.
Lamborghini, of course.
I think so. Kamui Kobayashi, who's in the 40 WTR Cadillac. There's another driver who I'm forgetting. We mentioned Nazar. We mentioned there's 3 in LMP2. We mentioned Paul DiResta. That's the third in LMP2. Paul DiResta is in the 22 United Autosports car. I think that's all the GTP drivers that we covered. Oh, one more. Pascal Wehrlein, who is in the 85 JDC Miller Porsche. I totally forgot about that driver. He's a driver for Manor and Sauber, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And there's also, David, there's actually a few drivers that like reserved for a few teams, right? I think we have one of
Louis Delatraz. He also did something. I'm quite sure. At least in Formula 2, he was racing for a while.
Dragovic is one, I think.
Yeah, Dragovic, Frank Vesti, driving for Cadillac now. He's a Mercedes reserve driver.
Nick Yololi.
Yeah.
That's another driver, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're going off of our memory here, viewers. We don't have a list or anything like that.
I also just want to mention that, in the AF Course LMP2, I think it's the number 88. Right now in third place, we have last year's Le Mans winner, Niklas Nielsen, driving that car. Of course, he actually did a long time for AF Course in LMP2 before he jumped up into hypercar, Ferrari. So great to see them back up there in third place right now, fighting for wins again.
That's true. Yeah, that's definitely true. Oh, and Mora GP has just mentioned a few more. Sebastian Bourdais, another driver in LMP2.
Course, yeah.
Bruni, Jean-Marie Bruni. I don't remember Jean-Marie Bruni driving in F1. Did he do like a race or two, maybe? I don't remember Bruni in F1. Maybe he did one race like back in the day, or maybe a reserve driver. But
I just want to mention, sorry for interrupting.
No worries.
We have had the race leader into the pit lane. Dries Van Toor is now into third place after taking his first pit stop. Tom Blomqvist and Sheldon van der Linde staying out for one more lap at least. But the rest of the GTP field have had their first pit stops now. And It's actually Lamborghini moving up into fourth place with the pit stops phase. So interesting to see who takes what, who takes tires, who takes just fuel, and what is happening. But yeah, Sheldon van der Linden and Tom Blomqvist staying out for one more lap at least. So that means Tom Blomqvist now back into his usual position in leading the Daytona 24.
Yeah, so that's a change, and Lamborghini's now up there as well, with the number 63 car now in fourth. So a pit stop change for sure in terms of the strategies. This will change. Mora GP has just mentioned that Bruni was a minority driver in 2004. I don't remember that. That's interesting. I didn't know that he was a driver there. Also, Corbin has mentioned, where are the LMH and LMPH? I think you're referring to LMDH. Yeah. So the LMDH cars are all the entries that you see on screen. So the Lamborghini, the BMW, Porsche, Cadillac, Acura, those are all LMDH cars. There are no Le Mans hypercars or LMH cars on the grid this time round. But David, there is another LMH car coming to IMSA for the next race, right?
Yeah, of course, a lot of excitement around the Aston Martin Valkyrie. Been doing some testing here at Daytona, but not joining for the 24 hours. It will have its race debut at Qatar for the opening round of WC next month, and it will jump into IMSA at Sebring. So there will come an LMH car to IMSA after a long time's wait, actually, Jonah. We're
Yeah.
used to seeing LMH cars only in WC, so great to see them also expanding into IMSA. Maybe this is just the first of many. I know a lot of people have talked about Ferrari wanting to see that over here. With also last year, I think we talked about Risi Competizione in talks with Ferrari about a hypercar program, but it isn't news yet. But there are talks. I know that for a fact. Also, Peugeot talking with I think it was Stodge about going over here with their LMH car. So that it is a talking point, but yeah, Aston Martin, the first confirmed LMH car to join IMSA for Sebring 12 hours.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on as we come into the next round at the 12 hours of Sebring. The Aston Martin will make its debut at the Qatar 1812 kilometer in February, but that car is definitely an entry to keep an eye on. It's definitely a fun one. I was going to point out in terms of LMH entries, of course, in 2027, we have Genesis joining with an LMDH car. I've overheard some rumors that Alpine are looking to join as well with their LMDH car. And another car that's an LMDH, potentially at least, that could potentially join is the McLaren LMDH, which is rumored to come very soon as well if McLaren announce a program. That's probably the next manufacturer to announce that they are going to be joining the World Endurance Racing categories of IMSA and the WEC. So we'll definitely see how that goes. Very intense lead battle for the GTD Pro Championship in IMSA. Caldarelli, Harper, and Engel. It's the number 9 Pfaff Lamborghini and the number 48 Paul Miller Racing BMW that are up top. The number 75 Express, number 75 car is right there. And already that car is going to try and make a move.
Making
and I think,
a move.
Yep, it's got
It
ahead.
takes it, yeah. Second place. I mean, 75, that's 75 Mercedes moving up the field, and now all the way up into second place with the eyes peaked at the Lamborghini in first place. Man, Mercedes having a great time last year, of course, winning with, I think it was Windward Racing. Now another Mercedes fighting for a first place here at Daytona. Could this be two years in a row for Mercedes? I mean, I would love to see it. Also, Mercedes, of course, joining LMGT3 in WC for the first time, seeing Mercedes in GT3 racing in the World Endurance Championships.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great to see Mercedes back in at Le Mans in the WEC as we see another move, potentially BMW looking to re-overtake the Mercedes. Watch out for Frederick Vervich in the 65 Ford. There is a 6-car train right here for the battle for first in GTD Pro. it's the Lamborghini ahead of the Mercedes, and Sun Energy 1, or sorry, 75 Express as they're now known, right on the back of Andrea Caldarelli's number 9 Pfaff Lamborghini. Wow, the Mercedes is looking to take the lead here of the GTD Pro category. We'll see if they can be able to do that. There's 2 Mercedes AMG GT3s in the GTD Pro class. There's this 75 Express bright orange and sunburst colored car. And then there's also that brand new Get Speed number 69 Mercedes, which is that all black, very, very cool looking Mercedes. That car, I don't know where it's on the grid, but it's down the order in GTD Pro. But yeah, definitely nice to see. No big change right now. I think that it's still the GTD Pro class. Oh, and so the Mercedes is 9th, just a correction. But yeah, this is the most intense battle, I'd say, out of right now. What's going on is the battle for GTD Pro win. Caldarelli, Engel, Harper, Vervish, Rockefeller, Sims, and Milner all in the fight for the win. Heinrich is not too far behind either in the number 77 Rexy AO Racing Porsche. Mm-hmm. Yep. It could be any of these cars.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, every single GTD car, and we also usually see GTD and the GTD Pro fields mix it up. It doesn't really, but just because you're a GTD car doesn't mean you can't be ahead of the GTD Pro cars, of course. It's the same cars, it's just different driver regulations. So normally we see GTD cars actually fighting in between the GTD Pro cars for positions, which is always fun to see. And a bit, I think if I was a GTD Pro driver and losing positions to a GTD amateur driver, I would look myself in the mirror a bit differently than when I first started the race. Being a professional driver, being beaten by an amateur driver, that's something different. But you can ask Ben Keating's competitors about that. He's pretty good at doing that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with you on that, and it's something to keep an eye on. Also, sorry to cut off this conversation, but it's important to mention that a few of the cars in the GT classes have pit. Mauro Engel takes over the race lead in the 75 Express Mercedes. That's because the number 9 Pfaff Lamborghini has come into the pits. Same with the Ford of Frederick Vervich and the number 4 Tommy Milner Corvette. So a lot of cars coming into the pits, as well as the GTD leader. That's the number 120 Wright Porsche that has come into the pits as well. This is going to really change up the GTD Pro order, I think, in terms of this strategy. What's going on in the Pfaff Lamborghini? Something's going on there.
It's a wheel nut. They can't get it off.
No.
It's the wheel nut is stuck. Oh, that's the worst thing to happen.
That's the race leading car in GTD Pro. They can't get the wheel nut off. The tire's stuck, it seems. They can't get it off. Oh my goodness, this is going to cost them the lead.
Perfect timing for ads as well on Peacock. Just jumping in. I just want to mention as well that Sheldon van der Linde has moved up 3 places in GTP since the pit stops. Now into 6th place. Momentarily, actually, was up into 4th place just after the pit stops. So, great job by BMW moving up the field. Of course, they have the lead right now of Daytona with Dries van Tor, 14.5 seconds down to 2nd place. Nick Yellowly, who have another 2.5 seconds down to Jack Aitken in the number 31 Wheeling Engineering Cadillac. So yeah, just great race so far for BMW. Of course, also in the lead battle in GTD Pro. Yeah, they can be happy back in the factory for BMW if this result holds up.
Yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up too early because this is so long. This race is 24 hours. Of course, we're not even into the halfway mark or even the next we're not even into 3/4. So it's definitely a long way to go in this endurance race. But so far, BMW look pretty strong. And I hope that does continue. And I also hope that Sheldon van der Linde's number 25 car can get up there as well, because it would be nice to see both BMWs doing well. Right now, the 25 car is in 5th, I believe, or 6th, sorry.
6. Yeah.
Yep. And so that is definitely a car to keep an eye on as well. And I want to right now, the stream that I have and the stream that David is also watching is on ads right now, which is, like you said, David, like the worst time because FAF Motorsports had that problem. So we can't really comment on what's going on with the FAF Motorsports Lamborghini. David, do you have data right now for IMSA? Like, does it show like
Yeah,
where
I'm
the position?
looking. It actually shows that right now Rexy has taken first place in GTD Pro. I think
Wow.
they are missing a pit stop. Yeah, they just turned into the pits together with Dan Harbour and Mara Engel. So they are right
Okay.
now in the pit. The top 3 in GTD Pro are in the pits right now. As yeah, I'm trying to find the FAF Motorsports car. Um,
Also, Mora
it's
just
all the way
mentioned.
down into it's last in class right now, all the way down into 56th in total in the race.
Oh.
Only it's 6th last. No, 7th last in the race right now overall. So from first to last in GTD Pro in one pit stop. That's the pain of having problems right now. But in hindsight, I'm happy because Rexy right now leading in GTD Pro, coming out of the pits. So my prediction holds up.
Yeah, your prediction does. Problem for a GTP entry. Mora just mentioned that the number 63 Lamborghini has its engine cover off. That's not good news. I hope that if we get ads removed, we can see exactly what happens. That's not good news for Lamborghini. Are really having a difficult time right now. The FAF car was in the lead, and now it's down the order, which is super unfortunate. Harper will take over the lead in the BMW, but the number 63 Lamborghini seems to now be having problems as well. According to chat, it seems that number 63 car, big problem. This is not what you want to see from Lamborghini this early on as well. I want to see what's going on if that car has got out. Maybe this
It
is
is in the
just
pit lane. I can see that on data at least, but
this is just
something has happened.
it's a nightmare for Lamborghini so far, at least in GTP and GTD Pro. So far, things are going pretty well in GTD, but I don't want to jinx anything. They're sitting 4th and 5th right now with Forte Racing and Wayne Taylor Racing's entries. But I want to see what's going on with the 63 Lamborghini. It's most definitely last in GTD Pro, in GTP. So
Yeah, it's
that's
flying down the LMP2 order as well. So
oh my
right now,
goodness.
losing positions left, right, and center. Still in the pit lane.
I want to see Lamborghini doing so well in racing, but right now it's just an absolute nightmare. I just want to see Lamborghini getting involved at least with the fight. Of course, we still have a long way to go, viewers. So there's still everything could change. The worst case scenario for Lamborghini though would be if they went behind the pit wall and went to garage. If that car went to the garage, then that's bad news. That's really bad news. Right now, from my understanding, they are not going behind the garage. By the way, there has been a position change for overall victory, if I'm not mistaken. I believe this, or actually, sorry, not overall victory. The GTD Pro ranks.
I was about to say there's 12 seconds between first and second overall, so
Yeah, no,
definitely no
no.
changes there.
And actually, I mistaked it. There is no change much to the GTD Pro field. It looked like the 48 BMW, but it's actually the number 1 Paul Miller Racing BMW. So the 75 Express, which I thought was leading this race now overall, is not indeed. It's still the number 48 Dan Harper and BMW from Paul Miller Racing out in front, but the two Fords have now rejoined the podium spots. Rockefeller is in second, Vervich is in third for the 65 Ford. But yeah, this is so far it's going well for the Americans in terms of the American manufacturer, Ford and Corvette. Second through fifth, they occupy those positions, and the 91 car with Connor Zilic behind the wheel is in ninth right now. So that car's doing well too.
Yeah, close racing again, but as you said, sad to see for Lamborghini losing positions right now. But I would just like to comment that if a safety car was to come while they still are on the lead lap, of course, it all would be mixed up again. So this is definitely not race over for any of the two Lamborghinis, but it's not the way you want to start it, not the way, it's not something you want to have happen to you at all in terms of a race. But IMSA is pretty forgiving when it comes to problems and lost laps for a race. I believe last year as well we saw actually the number 6 Porsche being behind by 3 laps and ending up on the lead lap for the end of the race. So you can really make some ground up pretty quickly with safety cars.
Still some bad news for Lamborghini, though, as according to chat, the car has gone behind pit wall. That is bad news. That's not good news for a Lamborghini. That car, hopefully, we hope that it will return to the track. We want to see it out there, but it's most definitely going to go at least a lap down, at least a couple laps down from the GTP field. But like you said, David, things could definitely change later on. It's possible that with the safety car coming out, they could get back in. It really just depends if that car can get back out on track. Right now, it seems to be some sort of a thing with the internals of the car, the engine. No bodywork damage from what we can see, from what we're hearing. But yeah, not good news for Lamborghini. We want to get some updates, but I'm not getting anything on terms of the screen or the data that's being presented to me. So Lamborghini, right now, as according to chat and according to a few sources that I have, that car is now behind the in the garage. But yeah, so I don't know. So right now, race leader in GTD Pro is the number 57 Windward Racing Mercedes.
Yeah, leading again, of course, is the defending champions of that class. Having a great race again. In general, Mercedes picking up some pace right now, because if I don't recall mistakenly, I seem to think that Mercedes didn't really have to show the pace in testing compared to some of the competitors. But of course, this Daytona and 24-hour racing, and a lot can change. And it isn't about testing and qualifying. It's about the race, as I mentioned before as well. So Windward Racing back up into first place, and they'll try to keep that to make it a double for them. Of course, winning last year.
Oh yeah, for sure. We'll see if they can be able to do that. Of course, a gap of 1.8 seconds to Adam Adelson, who's now jumped aboard the 120 Porsche. He's taken over for Elliott Skier in the right car. But we'll see how that progresses in GTD. Meanwhile, we were talking about the number 25 BMW earlier on, David. That car has jumped up to 6th in the order. So things going well right now for the BMWs, and they're leading in GTP and GTD Pro. I don't want to jinx anything, but this is looking really good.
Yeah, it is, Jonah, but it isn't too much of a surprise, at least in GTP, that they're showing so much pace. Of course, if you watch testing, BMW were fastest almost every single session. So it isn't a surprise, but yeah, as you say, don't jinx anything, because we are only 1 hour into a 24-hour race. It's a long way through, and you can't really have a perfect race in endurance racing. Almost every time something will come up and putting a span of the works. So I'm interested to see how they'll handle the night. I know They have great pace throughout the day. Racing wise, now we've seen an hour of them, and they just pushed out that lead. I'm interested to see how the GTP BMWs will do in the night stints. Because of course we saw this last year, Porsche being really, really quick in the night and not so quick in the day. And they ended up winning. So a lot can change with the night. Of course, a long period of the race is under dark skies. So yeah, interesting to see how that will affect the race. But right now, an hour into the race, everything looks like what we could expect after testing and qualifying.
Yeah, pretty good. Things are going well. The major drama has really been in LMP2 and GTP. LMP2, of course, had Ben Keating losing positions. They went wide. But the main dramatic moment that we can think about is the 63 Lamborghini, which Mora has just confirmed in chat that it's a suspension failure, which is bad news for the 63 Lamborghini. I'm honestly a little heartbroken to see that car having this issue just an hour into the event. I mean, it's just unfortunate. This is kind of what we saw in the beginning of Le Mans with the BMW cars. I know the 15 went off in the 24 hours of Le Mans last year. The 20 car with Robin Franks behind the wheel had that crash at the Ford chicane, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm hoping that Lamborghini, Riley, and the team can kind of just work on that car, help out to get that car back. If it's a suspension failure, as it said in the chat, then they're going to need to work on that car for a little bit. It's going to go a couple laps down for sure. The hope is that the car can return to the race and get back in the fight. But right now, we don't know if it will be back in this event. I really hope that it does, because it would be really, really sad and unfortunate and just absolutely heartbreaking if Lamborghini retired their GTP entry within just the first hour. But sometimes that's just how it goes. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, right now, Lamborghini down the order and not looking good in GTP or in GTD Pro after that issue with the tire for the number 9 fast car.
Also have contact between a Ferrari and a Corvette. No, two Ferraris. That is the Inception car. I think.
And the Dragon Speed?
Yeah, the Dragon Speed and the Inception car. Getting together there in the first corner. A bit of drama, and also in GTD. Too much drama right now, Jonah, or is this perfect for a motorsport fan?
I think I'd say it's like, I'm kind of like, okay, it's sad to see that certain things are happening, but like, it's expected that things are going to happen. You know, I think that's just how it goes. But I would say it's just how it goes. I don't really know how to really put it on, unfortunately. But yeah, for me, the biggest thing that has really affected and is just a little bit disappointing is the Lamborghinis in GTD Pro and GTP. But that's how it goes. Meanwhile, a 12-second gap between the top two, between Nick Yaloli and Dries Vanthoor. BMW continue to lead in GTP.
Yes, and that's a 12-second gap, as you say, 3.5 seconds down from second place to third, and then another 14 seconds from Jack Aitken to Tom Blomqvist. So the top three has really stepped away, and it's a fight between three different manufacturers for the overall lead. Great to see, Jonah. That's what we want to see. Not just one manufacturer dominating the field, but three different here and three different teams, of course. So great to see that battle. Also down through the GTP field, still close racing with their fifth, sixth, and seventh actually. As we get pictures now of the Lamborghini, that doesn't look good, Jonah.
That doesn't. Yeah, that's our first pictures of the Lamborghini showing on screen now. This is not what we want to see from the SC63 garage. A lot of mechanics around. This is what I'm kind of painting the picture. A lot of mechanics around the back of the car. The engine cover is off. They're looking at things. They're not moving very fast, and that's a worrying sign to me. That's a worrying sign that things are not moving in the direction that we want to see. But I don't know. We'll continue to update all of you on the progress of the SC63. Meanwhile, in GTD Pro, a lead change has happened. Ford has taken back the lead of GTD Pro, not with Mike Rockenfeller's car, though. It's the number 65 Ford with Frederick Vervich behind the wheel. He's got ahead of Dan Harper in the 48 BMW. So Ford are back in the lead with Multimatic Motorsports of GTD Pro.
Great to see. I mean, we talked about them before, starting first and second. And actually, me and Jonah, we spoke about them outside of stream as well, having so much confidence and looking like a different team than last year. Showing it now pace-wise as well. Of course, if you can take pole position in GTD Pro and second place, you have something about you. But the start of the race, they were losing some positions. They were down the field, now back up into first and third place. And Mike Rockenfeller not that far behind, second in Dan Harper. So we could get that first and second place back, Jonah.
Definitely, yeah. We'll definitely see how that goes. It's Ford on top though in GTD Pro. We'll see if BMW can retake that, and we'll see how everything kind of handles. There's also a position change in GTD with the number 45 Wayne Taylor racing car now going past the Porsche, and so Lamborghini is now up into second in GTD. But since we are about, I don't know, we're past the hour mark here into Daytona with 22 hours and 46 minutes to go of this event as of recording this. David, do you think this is probably a good time we pause our stream, considering the fact that we've been streaming for now 2 hours now?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a long stream, but it's also been good. And we leave you guys on a point where the races settle in.
Yep.
Where we really are seeing what we're normally seeing in endurance racing. Cars having problems like the Lamborghini, and places switching, and we have been through the first pit stop phase. So yeah, we're leaving in your good hands now. But yeah, I think this is it for this stream, at least, Jonah. Maybe we'll come back later. We'll have to find out, but we'll keep you updated, and keep following our socials, where we post things about this all the time. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. This was amazing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, David. And speaking of socials, you have a new Instagram account, which is for this channel, and we'll post that in the link down below, in the description down below with a link. Check out David's Instagram. Please go follow him. He's an integral part of this YouTube channel. So definitely a channel to follow. And also, if you haven't already, make sure to also follow my channel, formulajonah, on Instagram, or my page. Both pages are definitely important. But yeah, as David says, we leave you on a good note. As the race is kind of settling in, we're getting into the strategy game. We're getting into the time where things kind of start to settle down a little bit of the race. It's been a very, very exciting event at Daytona so far. And yeah, of course we can't stream forever. We have to end here, but that's okay. Thank you so much for everybody that is tuned in. David, thank you so much for joining me once again. And yeah, that's going to be it from us for the Rolex 24 Daytona. Remember, it's going to be on IMSA YouTube channel and on the Peacock streaming service. But for now, thank you so much.